let's go ahead. Let's move on to the Baltimore Ravens and evaluate them for 2022 and see what they can do to get back in the playoffs in 2023. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification so we can ping you every time we post a video or go live. All right, let's get into the Baltimore Ravens because this was one of the more interesting teams. They had a little bit more drama in 2022 than a lot of other organizations, mostly surrounding Lamar Jackson getting injured and then refusing to come back for a playoff game. And I think their cap situation and their draft picks, I think, indicates maybe a way that they want to go with Lamar Jackson. And I just kind of want to get your thoughts on what you think their first move of this offseason should be with Lamar Jackson.
So the first move, they're definitely going to at least franchise tag him.
Yeah.
So they will at least franchise tag him that way. Then they can still trade him, I guess, at any point and flesh out this thing, kind of like maybe prolong the potential breakup conversation. In general, though, what they're probably going to do is they're going to re-sign Tyler Huntley. He is a free agent, and they can sign him for like $5 million. I would say like something extremely cheap. They could even do for another year like that. And when I look at this team, they have $27 million ish in cap space. They have Marcus Peters, a free agent. Justin Houston's a free agent. Those are the main guys that they want to bring back. They were second overall on their offensive line, and so I think they're doing well there to like add depth there. Fun fact: they only had 24 offensive penalties all season.
Wow, that's actually so.
That's insane.
That is a sign of a really
well
coached.
Sorry. I was offensive line penalties. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I just want to make that clear.
That's just a sign of a really well-coached team. They have the second best rushing attack. Some of that, I put an asterisk by that because of Lamar Jackson running at the quarterback position. I know they run a lot of set plays with Lamar.
Yeah, and that's tough too because their running backs. I mean, J.K. Dobbins only played 8 games, but it's like he only had 500 yards. Kenyon Drake only had just shy of 500 yards, and Gus Edwards had like 430. So it's tough. It's similar to kind of like with the Bills and Josh Allen's, like when you look at their stats, like, oh, they're one of the best running teams in the league. Like, no, Lamar Jackson's just one of the best runners. Yeah. Lamar Jackson, one of the best runners in the league. It's interesting to this whole Lamar Jackson conversation. Like, we can speculate and everything like that. I don't know. Obviously, I'll say as a Falcons fan, I don't want, at least for the Falcons, I could see a team like the Jets trading 3 first-round picks because they're kind of a quarterback away, and we're going to talk about them at some point. They are a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl winning team. You go look at the stats, you go look at this team. They were decimated with the offensive line. They have a better quarterback, especially maybe in a Lamar Jackson who is a lethal runner. That could catapult the team. But a team like the Falcons, though, I honestly don't think that those trade negotiations are really – I think that's all speculation by the news media and writers. Falcons are not ready to just mortgage their future. They are still rebuilding, you know. So I think there's a lot – I would say I think there's a lot less teams interested in Lamar Jackson than people are talking about.
Yeah. So I think if you look at the style of play that Arthur Smith ran when he was at Tennessee and when he had that team's offense being a top 10 offense in the league, he had Ryan Tannehill at quarterback who was not athletic, but was just able to place the ball wherever he wanted.
Tannehill was athletic. He was a receiver in college. Like they would do that a lot. Like he could run.
He's not Lamar Jackson.
No one's Lamar Jackson, but
Josh Allen, or like he's not that type of quarterback.
Yeah.
But they were leading the league. They were the number 1 rushing team in the NFL, but they ran set run plays. They ran power, and I just don't think Lamar Jackson fits that scheme that Arthur Smith would want to run. I think Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, or Jimmy Garoppolo would fit what Arthur Smith wants to do in Atlanta a little bit better. And I think the fact that Baltimore had the second best rushing attack in 2022 and then the 28th best passing attack, they almost ran for as many yards as they threw. And to me, I think that is not what like the Falcons are trying to do. I think that's
let's steer back to the Ravens now. And I think that's one of the key things that the Ravens are wanting to address, and that's where it's interesting. This always is an interesting dilemma with Lamar or with these QBs who I want to get paid, but I want to be on a Super Bowl winning team. And then at the same time, it's well, if we pay you, we can't go get you receivers. We can't re-sign Ben Powers at left guard, who was one of the better offensive guards in the league. When it comes time to pay Mark Andrews to re-sign him, we won't be able to do that. We can't bring – running backs are kind of irrelevant. I think you can go get some undrafted guys and it can just put them back there. That's what they did last year when all their running backs got hurt. So I don't know. I think it's very interesting. I think if Lamar Jackson wants to get paid, I just don't think it's going to be the Ravens. But if he wants to be on a Super Bowl winning team, I think that the pieces are there. Yeah, because you have a really good defense. You have a team that you can run the ball a lot. You just need people to throw to. And I think that's one of the things that also to talk about is I think Rashad Bateman can become a good receiver in this league. If he's healthy. He only played 6 games this year. Mark Andrews is obviously if it wasn't for Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews would be head and shoulders the best tight end in the league. Mm-hmm. And so there are some weapons you can build off of, but with the cap space situation, it's going to be interesting to kind of see. Yeah. Well, they do have a lot of cap this year. So let's talk about the free agents really quick. Lamar Jackson is a free agent, but like you said, I think they'll franchise tag him and then they'll franchise tag extend him or franchise tag and trade him. And then I think if you look at this defense, Marcus Peters, Kyle Fuller, and Justin Houston, who's a lot older but still played for them in 2022. All those guys will most likely be departing. All of those guys are over 30. Fuller and Houston are over 33, I believe. And then I think if you look, Ben Powers is a free agent, or he's a free agent. And then also Juwan James, their right tackle, is a free agent. And so I think you look, they have some major holes to fill. I don't know how much did Juwan James play, because I think I had Morgan Moses down here as the main right tackle. Because he was 13th overall amongst tackles in PFF. But maybe Juwan James was kind of a swing tackle. Sorry, I'm looking at it. No, it's good. Yeah, he did play. He didn't take snaps this year. The exact number I'm unsure of. So, but I think they have some significant holes to fill. To me, secondary. They have the 28th ranked or the 26th ranked pass defense, giving up 232.2 yards a game. Some of that is the scheme that they play. They play a lot of bend, don't break, cover 3, keep everything in front of you. But losing Marcus Peters and Kyle Fuller, they're going to need depth there to come in and play. So to me, that's their number one need. Offensive tackle, and then still continuing to build a base of wide receiver talent, because outside of Rashad Bateman, they really don't have anything. Sammy Watkins is also a free agent. I didn't include him on the key free agent. Well, no, but I noticed that I didn't include him either, and it's he's now just a journey type. Yeah. Well, he's receiver. 31. He can't stay healthy. It's and so they drafted David Ajabo last year, so they have some edge depth coming back. And they have some really good pieces. To me, the most interesting thing for them is the Lamar Jackson situation. Well, they can't really figure, and this will just be the last thing that I say about it. I mean, I guess they could sign Tyler Huntley, because you still need a backup quarterback. They could do that before, but until everything else falls in place, everything else can't fall in place until they figure out the Lamar Jackson situation, and get that contract going. And I think just the last thing, what are the dates, timelines to the franchise tag? It is February 22nd through the March 5th, and then free agency starts March 15th. Okay, so we'll know something here. Yeah, I think it's the 28th, February 28th through the 5th. I wouldn't be surprised if February 22nd is hey, we're franchise tagging. Yeah, you. So we're recording February 18th, so depending on when this video comes out, this might be irrelevant. So I think that's going to do with the Ravens. It is very compelling. It's interesting. We got 3 huge quarterbacks this offseason, like Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, and Lamar Jackson. Very curious to see where they all end up.
Well, Jimmy
maybe they're
Garoppolo, not the same
Jimmy
talent, but him and Derek Carr, I would say, are fairly close.
Yeah, I would say fairly close.
Yeah.
I would say fairly close. Maybe they all just switch teams. Like, what if Aaron Rodgers goes to Baltimore and then no, not Baltimore. Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders. Derek Carr, he's not going to Baltimore. Maybe not.